Good evening, parents. Tonight we are talking about a new nonfiction comprehension strategy created by Jennifer Saravallo. This chart is called Nonfiction Readers Stop and Jot When. So you can see this is for a more advanced grade level than how we did the stop and jot for the last time. Okay? So this is at least second grade through fifth grade. All right. The first section says learn new info. Okay? So let's see what the kids will be focusing on in this section. They will be responding to prompts that say, oh, wow, I never knew this. Or, oh, I just learned this. Or this is what I'm thinking now. Parents, this technique provides kids with the prompts to help them build their writing skills, build their thinking skills. Anytime students read nonfiction text, we want them to get into the habit of collecting data. What new information did they learn? What kind of images are they seeing in their mind? Okay? And what do I wonder now? Your child can choose to respond to these prompts in any order that they choose. They do not have to follow the book in sequential order when they're responding to the prompts on this chart. This is their handout and they can make it their own. All right, let's look at the second page of the stop and jot strategy. This would be the back side of your paper if you are using the sticky notes. This gives kids the opportunity to start meeting new words and it gives them a purpose for building their vocabulary. The more words that students know, the more likely they can figure out words they don't know because of their past experiences with large amounts of words that they do know and the word parts they already understand. And once they meet this new word and they respond to the prompt, we need them to go actually look up the definition of the word or use the glossary. Okay? Now, your students have a second section on here that says come to the end of a section. So when they get to the end of that section, we want them to respond to this prompt right here. Okay? And the next part of this prompt says want to remember. Kids always ask me, what do I write here? I said, you write down what you want to remember. And you write it the way you see fit, okay? You're the writer here. You're the author. You're the responder. You're the teacher. All right? It's exactly what your child wants to record and what they want to remember at the end of a section. All right. So let's look at an example that I filled out based on the book All About Having Careers in Science. Parents, if you don't have a chance to grab post-it notes, don't sweat it. Drawing a simple table by hand or using a sheet of paper and then drawing some boxes and allowing the children to fill those boxes in will suffice. I decided to use our resource nobody.org. The text talks about all the ways that you can work in the field of science, and I learned a lot of new valuable information. The layout of this table is presented in black. My examples are presented in blue. So parents, take a moment to review my examples and then we'll dig in deep. The first section states, learn new info. So here's where I, as the reader, get to respond. What new info did I learn? Well, I learned something interesting, guys. I learned if you take certain college classes, you can learn to build drones. I wish I knew that a few years ago. We won't say how long ago. Now, the second part of this prompt says learn new info. So now what am I thinking as the reader? I'm thinking, wow, there are careers for people to build drones, drones that go into dangerous places, or drones that can go into safe places. If I were a little bit younger when I learned this, I think I may have had a different career. And while our kids are reading nonfiction, it gives them an opportunity to learn about different careers, parents. So I encourage you strongly to allow your student to participate in reading nonfiction text as much as they can. Now, let's go to the second part of this chart. See a strong image. This is where your child gets to draw out whatever they're visually picturing in their mind, and they draw right here. They sketch it and they label it real quick. And in this section, I did not allow my kids to color it. I allowed them to use one pencil and they get to label it and keep moving. All right. Coming over, the prompt says, I'm picturing, all right. If you ask me what I was picturing in my mind, how cool it was for scientists to use DNA to solve crimes. Were they taking blood samples? Were they extracting DNA? This is something that's going to gauge your students' curiosity. This is how excited we want our kids to be when they're reading nonfiction text. And because we have this time, I won't say off, your kids have a large opportunity to view text on what they care about, what they're interested in. Let's go to the bottom of our chart, bursting with curiosity. All right. As the reader, I can respond to the prompt, I wonder, or I can say, why did something happen? I chose to use the part that said, I wonder. I wonder, how can I be a good scientist at home? What steps can I take? What are the processes to the scientific method? What kind of video should I be watching or lecture should I be listening to? Who should I be interviewing this time in my life if I want to know more about scientists? And the last part says, how can or where is? I like the part that says where is, and I decided to talk about, I wonder where is the nearest planetarium to my area. Parents, do you see how much reflecting your child is going to do while they're doing this strategy? This is what we want them to do, okay? All right, let's look at Stop and Jot, page 2. Meet new words. Parents, vocabulary, vocabulary, vocabulary is very important for our students to practice their vocabulary skills in meeting new words. Like we said on the previous page, the more words your kids know, the easier it is to meet new words and kind of figure out what the author wants us to understand. So let's jump into it. From the text or glossary, I learned that this word, and this is where your child fills the word in, means people who study insects around the world. All right. So if the text does not tell your child what the word means, make sure they find a dictionary to figure out what the word means. All right. Coming to the end of a section, remember we said we want the kid to respond. This part is mostly about. All right. You see how I talked about that? I put it nice in one sentence. And then you ask your child, what do you want to remember? And they can respond any way they desire in this section right here. Okay. That's not for you to tell them, oh, no, they actually get to write whatever they want. And remember, when your child is filling out this chart, if they just finished reading the book and the first page they want to talk about page 36, and then the second page where it says Stop and Jot, they want to talk about page 15, that's fine. Responding to this text does not go in sequential order. This is your child's personal journal. This is your child's personal notebook. So they are the learner, they are the teacher, they are the person who critiques. They get to respond how they want. And last but not least, share your reaction to the text. All right, what part of the text made you say, whoa? What made you take a step back? And parents, when you're talking to your child about these nonfiction books, get excited, get interested, get intrigued, because their attitude or how you feel about reading, okay? Kids mirror us. Kids mirror our excitement. The part that made me say, whoa, is like the average scientist makes $62,000 a year. Parents, if your children are in second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, it is time to talk about careers and just kind of open their minds that there are different careers in the world. And by the time they become adults, there will be so many careers for them to study. If it's the art of making glass, if it's the art of making cotton or fabric that absorbs water or absorbs chemicals, fixes bruises, this is the time that our kids can learn different things, especially with how technology is changing. Get your kids interested. Pick up a nonfiction book. All right? I'm surprised that what surprised your child in the text, and then your child would respond. Okay? So parents, I suggest this text, this strategy, and what I want to say, by the time your child filled in this chart, they responded with at least 6 to 9 sentences about one book. That's what we want our kids to do, right? 6 sentences effortlessly. They could probably do this without your help. I've seen second graders do this. I've seen fifth graders do this with excitement and eagerness because they were ready to share what they learned and how they saw the text from different angles. All right, parents, let's work together. We're doing a good job so far. All right, lastly, I want to leave you with a few ideas or thoughts. Parents, behind each strategy, your child is enforcing the important skills that they need to think critically. Part of standardized testing requires students to be able to think well and write well. When we prompt our kids to dig deep within every text they read, they build vocabulary skills, they begin to think about how the text makes them feel, they begin practicing responding to text and critiquing text. Why is all of this important? We're helping our kids keep track of new words. We're allowing students to pause and think about what else they want to know about this topic. My biggest hope is that when your child reads a book about engineering, they read some new words in there, and then they'll want to read another book about engineering. And then they'll want to read about how engineering affects their lives. And then who started engineering. That's our biggest hope for our students. Another reason that this is important that students get to highlight what they think are the key ideas. Do you know that the more your child practices this, how comfortable they will be with this by the time school rolls around? And last but not least, kids get to practice having a reaction to the text. There are questions that your child will see in life responding to a text where they get to say, well, this is what I liked about it, and this is what I did. Because they are in control. They are the teacher. They are the person that is reflecting. And we just want to encourage these skills within our students. So parents, once again, I want to thank you for your time. My name is Patrice. You guys have a safe evening. Thank you.